Hey, RetconRaider here, and welcome to the demo for Book of Hours by Weather Factory. The same twisted minds behind Cultist Simulator. Another game that I've always kind of wanted to touch on, but at the same time one that I've always feared is a bit too abstract and inaccessible. Maybe just too complex to really make videos about while also trying to seriously play the game. If you've played it, you'll know what I mean, but Book of Hours here is their newest project, and it looks to be a bit more streamlined, a bit more directed, with a perhaps a slightly stronger, more coherent narrative, at least judging from the demo, which I do like. You know, otherwise we wouldn't be here talking about it. That said, as always, easier to show than tell. Let's kick the tires, take this thing for a spin. Here we go. Brandkrug, March 7th, 1936. There has been no librarian at Hush House since the fire. 7 years now. Suitable candidates are very difficult to find. But perhaps we have found one in you. Take care on your journey. The seas around Brandkrug are treacherous. St. Brandon's Cove. The fishermen of Brandkrug Village beach their boats here each night. The sea does not regret the tide, and after the tide withdraws, something always remains, which we call memory. It's true of storms, too. The cold comes first. Thunder growling, waves pounding, and finally me, sprawled on the sodden sands of the beach. There's something in my hand. Health. Half drowned. With a timer, that's less than ideal. Memory. Storm. There are storms great enough to shake the moon from the sky, and one's thoughts from one's skull. A drowned book. The one possession I kept from the shipwreck. It must be important to me. And we have multiple traits on these cards. Starting with soaked. Yeah, that tracks. Heart. The heart relentless beats to protect the skin of the world we understand. The heart is the principle that continues and preserves. Element of the soul. The human soul is composed of 9 elements, and this is one. Most other things have simpler souls. Each soul card can be used once a day for the kind of things you do with your soul. That usually means talking to people, or crafting. Winter. Winter is the principle of silence, of endings, and of those things that are not quite dead. Readable. There are worse things to put in your eyes than this. Sky. Wind, storm, echo, song. The intricacies of mathematics and the principle of flight. Law's touch is lighter than we sometimes think. Matters of balance, harmony, and necessity. Memory. Something remembered might be something understood. Memories can be used to help with crafting and to upgrade skills. Remember. What do I have left to work with? Not a lot, but let's see. I can't get my thoughts straight. Perhaps there's something in the book. Right. I remember? Perhaps this book can help me put the pieces together. There was a storm. It smashed the ship like an egg. What I seized this book as the sea seized me. Then the sea brought me here to Brandkrug. Brandkrug is where I wanted to be, but it's hard to remember why. What else did I lose in the storm? Well, let's see. Fet, the part of us which dreams. Core, exuberance, instinct, rhythm. Shapt, eloquence and understanding. The door opens both ways. Okay, well those are certainly things we now have. Yes, that's me. What else is me? I'm soaked, I'm freezing, but as far as I can tell, I'm still alive. You still have some health. Don't lose it. You need it if you want to be alive. That is good advice, thank you. The book's in bad shape, and I'm not much better. We're both in need of a warm, dry, safe place. And soon. But we can't process that, so it must be these then. The human soul has 9 parts. Is my shaft strong? Recover this. The other 2 will be lost to the sea. For now. Oh, okay. So we have to choose between 3 aspects of our character. Shapt, core, or fet. Our ability to dream, our exuberance. Or our eloquence and understanding. And, I do like to be able to understand things. What remains of me? Words? This is the coast where Brankrug Isle lies. My sources briefed me thoroughly about the place, and I know there's no way I can cross to the isle in these seas. I'll need to find shelter for the night. And we now have Shapt, eloquence and understanding, with a new set of card traits. Knock. The knock permits no seal and no isolation. It thrusts us gleefully out of the safety of ignorance. The knock is the principle that opens doors, that unseams barriers. Forge. Fire, I once read, is the winter that warms and the spring that consumes. The principle of the forge transforms and destroys. Arab. Pride, compassion, hatred, and fear. Faust. Sight, perception, inspiration, all the glory's gifts. Whist. Name, memory, that part which remains. Most librarians know that books have souls. Most librarians hope for books with simple souls of whist, and nothing else. Metal. The capacity for meaningful choice. Getting a bit more esoteric here, but once again, we have to choose one aspect to keep and lose the rest. And I've got to say, that last one sounds pretty important. I do like making the choicest of decisions. What remains of me? Character? Perhaps here I can atone for all I've done, but what was that exactly? First things first, I remember there's someone in the village who will give me sanctuary, if I can get there. Mysteries have been added to your journal. You can begin to investigate them when you and your journal are both dry. An old friend's address. Denzel is the blacksmith of Brankrug Village. I remember him from the war. If he remembers me, I can find shelter beneath his roof, once I've reached Brankrug Village. An introduction. Even in this remote place, one can meet new friends. or make new enemies. Edge. All conquest occurs at the edge. One who dwells there is blind and cannot be wounded. Another is strong and grows stronger. Edge is the principle of battle and of struggle. Hello, Ellie. How are you doing? Consider. Reflect. Appreciate. Catalog. Shelter? Rankrug village must be nearby, but it's hard going, dragging my soaked body across the soaked sands in the teeth of this wind. Which way? That's a good question. Must be cache or skill or readable or memory. Can I glean anything from this book? I can't glean anything from this book until I've dried it out. Carefully. Right, I guess we just wait on this other timer then. Much like with Cultist Simulator, this game involves a lot of guesswork. Memory, fear. The oldest and strongest emotion of mankind is fear. And the oldest and strongest kind of fear is fear of the unknown. Lovecraft. Naturally. Help? Rankrug village and shelter lies nearby. If I can only muster my remaining strength to find help. That sounds like it requires metal. Or perhaps not. We need knock, heart, or rose. Ah, but we can't have winter either. So, by process of elimination... Perhaps there's someone out there, even in this weather. I can fill my lungs and bellow for help. That would also mean I don't have to crawl any further. "10 seconds this time. The timers get longer. At last, I see the light of a hurricane lamp bobbing in the dark. As it approaches, a face glimmers above the lamp. Fisherman's assistance. A fisherman from Rankrug village. He can guide me up the cliff path, if he trusts me. Reluctant. Someone who will provide help, but only essential help. Sky. Wind, storm, echo, song. The intricacies of mathematics and the principles of flight. Wait, we've already seen this one. Matters of balance, harmony, and necessity. Assistance. The librarian lives alone, but there's no shame in seeking assistance from others. Assistance can open new rooms or help with crafting. It disappears when used, or at dawn. Skeptical. Trust can be bought, or earned. Moon. Secrets are soft. Night is softer still. The sea speaks. It is not always wise to listen. The nocturnal. The forgotten. Talk. Although not in the library, please. Allaying suspicion. Come no closer. What's thy business? Be someone that'll speak free? Of course, since 1930 and the Restoration, the locals have grown ever more suspicious of foreigners. But there is someone in Rankrug I know. I'll take you by the cliffs, then. This gentleman is no longer skeptical. Oh yeah, look at that. They actually revised his traits. That's a nice detail. Suspicional aid, already. The gentleman no doubt wishes you to understand that he would like to get out of the rain now, please and thank you. So how do we get to Brandkrug? How do we visit our friend? The wind moans. Am I alone here? No, there's a surly pirate with you. Oh, here we go. Brandkrug Village. Sanctuary in the storm. I'll need help to climb the cliffs in the dark, and the locals are suspicious of outsiders. More than ever so since the Restoration and the new king. And here we are, Brandkrug Village, I presume. We have 4 buildings. Let's have a peek. Coffins and cradles, midwife and handywoman. Literally from cradle to grave. The old rectory, post office, and the Sweet Bones, which sounds like a tavern, maybe? As good a place as any to start. After the Restoration of 1930, the new king's agents came looking for his enemies in these parts, and they weren't gentle about it. Since those days, the locals are suspicious of foreigners. No one in the Sweet Bones will talk to me. A sea of hostile faces. Diplomacy? Or bribery? So this is where we start using skills. Our shop is exhausted, and obviously we don't have core, but we do have metal, so we could resolve this. And then if we didn't have any of those skills, we could use pence instead. If we had money, which we don't. But I'm sure there must be ways to get some. Ah, or we could ask for assistance. I bet that's something our blacksmith friend could help with. Force of personality. I'm not going away. They don't have to like me. And yet another timer. Really hoping these things don't get too excessive, but we'll see. Eventually, the other patrons unbend enough sufficiently to let me buy them a pint, and let me listen to them complain about the weather. I'll find a warmer welcome here next time. Memory solace. Peace after trouble. With heart, sky, and memory. The Sweet Bones has been the public house in Brandkrug since Cromwell's time. Its history is notable, its beer is not. Guests looking for discreet employment, or for discreet assistance, congregate in the snug. Pence or element of the soul. Okay, seems straightforward enough. Fixing and mending. Forge. There's not much work on offer in Brandkrug, but I can find 6 worth of odd jobs. Right, so we can earn money here. Or pay for assistance. Mrs. and Mr. Kill. Really? Mrs. Kill, the midwife, is tall and gloomy. Mr. Kill, the undertaker, is slight and wry. In these troubled times, both are wary of strangers. You need a suitably marked introduction. Check the slot. Okay, so we need an introduction with one of these traits. Moon, winter, heart. Grail. Hunger, lust, the drowning waters. The principle of the Grail honors both the birth and the feast. Sky. Or lantern. Life is a pure flame, and we live by an invisible sun within us. Thomas Brown. Lantern is the principle of the secret place, sometimes called the House of the Sun, and the light above it. Interesting. Well, we don't have any introductions right now, so we move on. The Rectory. Reverend Timothy is a hospitable soul, but Terence, his housekeeper, guards her employer fiercely. She doesn't want his innocent theological enthusiasm getting him in trouble with the new king's men. You need an introduction or a mutual acquaintance marked with lantern, knock, or sky. Perhaps someone who shares his interest in theology or poetry. Lantern, knock, sky. The post office. The postmistress may have something for me, once I know what to ask for. Which requires a non-soaked journal. Which means we should come back here once we figure out how to dry out our journal. Yeah, that tracks. Okay, so where are we going? Cucurbit Bridge. Every sod bridge to the Isle. Each bridge lasts 100 years, or 200. Then the sea disposes of it. This, built in the 1890s, is the newest bridge. But that doesn't mean it's new. We need assistance to repair that. With forge, that implies our blacksmith friend. Oh, here we go. Okay, it was just off screen from where they plopped us. The smithy. Denzel Smith has more work than he needs, and he rarely opens his door to strangers. You need an introduction or a mutual acquaintance marked with Edge, Forge, or Grail. Someone in a similar trade, or someone who can appeal to his secret passion for saffron cake. I don't have any cake, but we did fight in the war together. Apparently. You know what? I'll bet your choice of starting aspects determines who your initial contact is. We did take metal. That is apt. You? Here? How? I'm dying. Please help. Denzel only has the one bed, but he can offer me a straw mattress in the smithy. It's smoky, but the warmth is very welcome. Oof, 30-second timer. Yeah, that's what I was afraid of. There's a lot of that in Cultist Simulator. That's essentially the primary game mechanic. Trying to juggle multiple timers to get things done simultaneously or concurrently with each other. I'm not really great with those. I tend to focus on one thing at a time. Probably doesn't make for great viewing either. I suppose that's something we'd have to figure out how to work around if we revisited this game on launch. Denzel pauses at the door as I wish him good night. Son'll be back, he observes. Always do. Used to say that in the war, didn't we? The words linger as he clumps up the passage. The lamp flame flickers, red, gold, red. Memory revelation. Some truths come to us from outside, or above. Health. The dwelling place of the soul. with scale. Hard without, hard within. Hard to rouse, harder to subdue. What is left of the crude powers of the deep earth? And nectar. The green wealth in the world's veins. The pulse of the seasons. Long ago, some called this principle blood. Which I think is actually a nod to Cultist Simulator. That is one thing I'll miss a lot of, is references to the previous game, since I never finished playing it. Maybe I'll give it another shot before Book of Hours comes out. Denzil Smith, strong as oak, blackened by smoke. He will never surpass his father, and he is no longer a soldier. But he still has his craft. Denzil doesn't smile when he welcomes you in, but that's only because he's Denzil. I'm always welcome at Denzil's smithy. Denzil will offer help for free, as a friend. Oh, nice. Denzil rarely works for free, but he won't take payment for helping a friend. Oh, okay. This is how we dry out our journal. Denzil watches with grave interest as I dry the book in the warmth of his forge fire. He provides wads of cotton to put between the pages, but otherwise he keeps his distance. He is wary of the written word. I am beginning to suspect he cannot read. I do not expect he will ever tell me. And health is fatigued. That doesn't sound great. Scarred book. Goatskin? Antelope? Some scarred leather that catches at my memory. I should know. Journal. I began before this book, but it'll end when I do. Grim. Uncatalogued. There's nothing as safe as ignorance, or as dangerous. Nero Wolfe. Thing. The gentleman makes things his servants. The petty man is servant to things. Master Zun. Knock. Which, I don't think we've read this one. The knock permits no seal and no isolation. It thrusts us gleefully out of the safety of ignorance. The knock is the principle that opens doors and unseams barriers. Mystery. Edge. Greater challenges require stronger skills. Okay, let's hit the post office. The postmistress regards me with the chilly gaze of a goddess image in an ancient hill shrine. The librarian, says she. Yes, I have something for you. Wait here, please. Brankrug Village. This quiet Cornish fishing village has lain long in the Isle's shadow. It might be as old as Hush House itself. And like Hush House, Brankrug Village has provided sanctuary over the years for its share of misfits and exiles. The postmistress returns with an envelope addressed to The Librarian, Hush House, Brankrug Isle, postmarked in Wales a week ago. Welcome. The Trust congratulates me on my appointment as Librarian of Hush House. The Trust assures me that it will provide the promised stipends and funds for the maintenance of the library, but reminds me that its resources are limited and suggests I seek local assistance in restoring the premises. Let us know when you're all set up and ready to receive visitors, it concludes. It's signed, simply, The Trustees. And a 10-shilling note. Half a pound, but not half a note. A recent innovation. I don't understand your moon money. I use dollars and cents. The postmistress keeps the gate to the wider world. In her left hand is the lightning, which is to say the telegraph, and in her right, the thunder, which is to say the only telephone in Brandkrug. Interesting, interesting. So that's our lifeline to the outer world. Let us consider. A journal? My journal? The storm so scattered my thoughts. 30 seconds. Come on. Let's see if we can get something else going while that's counting down. I mean, I guess it should come as no surprise. Again, Cultist Simulator was all about juggling multiple timers simultaneously. Blacksmith's assistance. Denzel the blacksmith will lend me his strength for the day. Make use of the blacksmith's help before dawn. Which comes with forge, edge, introduction, and assistance, of course. So we could have him rebuild the bridge, but can he introduce us to the other people in town? No forge, no edge. So we need someone else, or something else, to meet Mr. and Mrs. Kill. Yeah, same here. That really does kind of reinforce my assumption about your initial traits determining who your contact in Brandkrug is. Oh, wait, I forgot to actually collect the blacksmith. Whoops. You'd think that would happen automatically, but I guess not. Huzzah! We've crossed that bridge when we came to it. Nice work, Denzel. Keeper's Lodge. A cottage where Hush House's groundskeeper lived. Until the fire. If I can get into the place and make it habitable, I can use it as a base for reclaiming more of the house. Exploring the house. The local blacksmith can defeat the door. The rector probably has a spare key. And the midwife knows how to jiggle the latch on the back door. Yes, okay, that definitely seems to clinch it. We could have definitely had different allies depending on which traits we had. Because each of them has a way to bypass this obstacle. Of course, the problem now is that we're completely fatigued. So we have to find something else to do until our soul has recovered. And then we can recruit Denzel again. Wait, hold on. Oh right, our journal. My journal, I'm sure of it. The storm scattered my thoughts, but each page I turn is familiar. I begin to recall now why I came here, to understand my curse, and redeem myself. More about your origin and your aspirations in your journal. Oh, Shapt recharged. No, this is a new Shapt card. We now have double Shapt. Okay, our soul grows. Mystery and mastery. Books are the memory that does not die. Add aspects to match the book's mystery. If a book has more than one mystery, you might need to decide which interpretation you favor. Sand-Scarred Journal. I am the Librarian of Hush House, and this journal will record what arose from my crime and my curse. The archaeologist came to Hush House to master Skolakosophy, so they can atone for their crime, one way or another. but you can complete the game by mastering any wisdom. Wisdom. Oh my goodness, I am... What? The Tree of Wisdoms. Scholars and adepts recognize 9 wisdoms, though they disagree where one wisdom ends and another begins. Something for me to think about. I am immediately overwhelmed. This is more what I would have expected from the creators of Cultist Simulator. Oh boy. Well, we'll just worry about that later, I think. Suppression Bureau. I mean, don't get me wrong, this is very intriguing. It's also just like, I don't know what I'm looking at. Actually, these look like skills. But we don't have any skills. How do we get skills? I'd say books, but the first book we read didn't really help. Actually, do we have any traits that match this mystery? Well, Shep does have lock, but that's not the type of mystery it was, right? This was edge? But we do have edge with our memory of fear. Edge, a conquest. I begin to understand. And we have another problem to resolve as well, one which thankfully has a much blunter solution. Denzel, I require your assistance once more. To Hush House. Oh my. And once again, immediately overwhelmed. Okay, one thing at a time. Watchman's Tower, Gatehouse. Entering this room will end the demo. That's all for now. Well, thank goodness for that. My brain is about to explode. Cucurbit Bridge. Hush House has been many things over the centuries, including in the nocturnal period of 1896 to 1932, a jail. No one remembers that period fondly, but at least it meant Nocturnal Branch paid for a new bridge. Right, so let's solve this mystery, and then I guess we'll wrap this up. This has been fascinating. I mean, it's a very esoteric and often confusing game, but it is very unique and very interesting. I like the concept behind it, if not necessarily the exact execution. I do worry about its suitability for YouTube, but, you know, let me know what you guys think. I've mastered a mystery in this book, and gathered the lessons it concealed. Lesson: Ragged Crossroads. I've gained more understanding of Ragged Crossroads. Use this card with Consider, or at a desk. Sure, I can do that. A new skill. To understand why 4 paths were not taken. I am so confused. Another leaf on the Tree of Wisdoms. Ragged crossroads to understand why 4 paths were not taken. With illumination, illuminates purify the self and its surroundings. Eventually, they often cease to see any difference between the two. Skill. Anything can be learned. Everything can be forgotten. Scholicosophy. The study of things that should not be studied. Some call this a wisdom. Oh, good. That saves me the trouble of having to look that up. I appreciate that. And then also Edge and Winter, which we've already seen. And the implication is that we can slot this into our wisdom tree somehow. Let's give this further consideration. We need a memory with Edge or Winter. Or 2 memories. We actually need 2 memories because those slots aren't listed as optional. Could we slot the lesson in there? Apparently we can. That feels kind of cheesy, but I'll take it. But we're still 1 short. Edge, a trophy. I've already mastered this text, but I could reread it, and perhaps recall a memory. Memory fear. That'll do. Thank you. Ellie, please don't stand between me and the microphone. Thank you, sweetheart. Such a cutie. Improve this skill to the next level. This will make it more powerful in crafting recipes, and allow it to be assigned to higher branches in the Tree of Wisdoms. Sure, why not? Two. Somehow he thinks they didn't quite plan on people doing this in the demo. So yeah, I think it might be about time to wrap this up. We're clearly pushing the boundaries of our preordained play space. But it did indeed increase the potency of the card, so I guess that gives us a hint at what later challenges will be like. They'll have higher requirements. And apparently we can also assign this skill to a slot in the Tree of Wisdoms, but I'm not sure how you would actually do that. Maybe it's something that's just not implemented yet. Alright, well, this has been fascinating, and sometimes very confusing, but mostly, well, let's say it's a 50-50 mix. Either way, I think we're about done. We've run through everything the demo has to offer, short of starting over and trying different traits. I mean, I suppose we could study our journal a while longer, recover additional memories, upgrade our ragged crossroads a bit further, but I don't see much benefit in that, not given what we're seeing right now. Likewise, we could go grind money, but aside from hiring assistants from the Sweet Bones, we haven't really seen much else that would require money. And we can get free assistance from Denzel, our blacksmith friend. So yeah, let's crack this thing open. End our brief perusal of the Book of Hours. Is what I'd say if we could actually open this place unassisted. Revisiting my previous comment about using money to hire assistants at the Sweet Bones. In spring, the local miners often travel to the Feast of Lights below. If one breaks his journey at the Sweet Bones, a shilling will buy his labor for a day. Miners offer scale and a little moon. There's our change, I'm assuming. Miners' assistants. Thus, they more or less ruled themselves, with the help of their wild Celtic temperament, made wilder by the hardness of their lives and the truly ghastly conditions under which they worked. With all this, it is not to be wondered that the Tinners acquired the reputation of being scarcely human. But it must be remembered that among them at all times were those whose characters could stand comparison with the best of men. L. Russell Muirhead. Muirhead? Well, regardless, we're done. A minor victory. Book of Hours. 3 blossoms hath the watchman's tree, paper, ink, and flame. Thomas de Wolfe, 2nd Baron Brankrug. Coming June of 2023. What a fascinating and utterly confusing game. As always, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Let me know if you'd like to see me revisit this one, possibly in June. But, goodbye for now. Oh, and special thanks to the raiders, the fine folks who help make these videos possible, including but not limited to Dragon Matrix 7, Mathew Smith, Revenant, Alois, Drakiith, Erie V23, EgonAlter, Emile, Exsellsior, Gottlieb, James Trimmier, Kazorm, Mark Giemza, Nathan Welch Jr., OverlordPherom, RandomPassrby, RobbyB, Tomasz Piątkowski, Triphoppenskip, and Valinrook. Thanks for your support, guys. That said, if you'd also like to help support the channel, then feel free to push the buttons that do the things. Trust me, it does make a difference. Or you could even check out the PayPal, the Patreon, or the Nexus GG page. Links are in the description.